service coordinator. I think their name's is Annette downstairs.
Who?
Your CSC
Well, I don't
from
know
the
that.
building. So it's the Toronto Community Housing staff.
Right?
They referred you to something called the focus table.
Right.
Did they talk to you about that
No.
beforehand? So that they just have some concerns about some of the interactions that you've been having with your neighbors and stuff, and they wanted to connect you with some mental health services.
What type of interaction with my neighbors?
They were concerned that you were videotaping people and you just seemed to be not getting along.
No, they're not getting along. It's Toronto Community Housing targeted me when I'm running for Toronto mayor.
Okay.
And I vowed to fix Toronto Community Housing
Right.
to make it fit for children to grow, play, and to live, and for people to enjoy the reasonable enjoyment of life.
Okay.
So I photograph and videotape interactions where there's safety issues,
I see.
where there's security issues,
Yeah.
and where there's issues with building repairs, maintenance, and issues
Yeah.
like that.
So you're trying to keep people accountable.
Yeah, last year there was a fire in my unit,
I see.
and in turn, I found out about the fire after I went downstairs, and a neighbor brought me some food.
Right.
In turn, I go to the living room, and I'm in the Supreme Court of Canada at that time against the City of Toronto and Olivia Chow, contesting the illegal appointment of Olivia Chow to the office of Toronto Mayor, the most historical legal challenge in Canadian political history,
Mhm.
and Miss Chow and the media kept it silent from the people.
Right.
It was 450 days I stopped her legally in the court of law. I was also in the human rights against Toronto Community Housing for
Right.
their contractors' work. They're hiring contractors who don't have license, it seems, to work in Canada.
Yeah.
The majority of their contractors have been in the country, a lot of them under 3 months, but yet they're getting an high-paying job with Toronto Community
Right.
Housing. They're also having individuals doing electrical work who don't have electrical license. So they're being trained by Toronto Community Housing staff who don't even have license themselves.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, to do electrical outlet, they'll have a maintenance person come in to
Right.
do that.
Not an
So
electrician.
I was also in the Superior Court of Ontario with the Toronto Police on corruption. So I took an officer named P.C. Kerr, and he did not do his job. I was threatened and ousted as a gang of people that they have targeted me, people who are alcoholics or people who are extreme crack addicts, and they're trying to defame my name in the community because I put together events such as Children's Pizza Party, such as Homeless Hunger Feed Out, such as Community Hunger Feed Out, and anything I do to in turn build a stronger community, they would in turn rip it down and try to discredit it. So on the time of the fire, a woman down the hall brought me a nice meal. So I ate my meal. And I had an individual who Housing had kicked out named Paul Keaton, who has since died. And they kicked him out 3 days after his wife died.
Right.
They've been common law for 30-something years, saying it was some conflict.
Right.
So in turn, I put Mr. Keaton through a procedure to make sure that he's really homeless. He's looking to do something positive. He passed the test, and I brought him in.
Yeah.
So also, there was upstairs, there was 40-something cats.
Right.
49 cats, a 2-bedroom unit.
Yeah.
Toronto Community Housing allowed a disabled woman with a mentally ill son to house 49 unfixed cats in a 2-bedroom unit.
Yeah.
And come on, Eddie. Hennessy.
Well,
Come.
that's
So while I was
yeah.
supplying them with food, I met Hennessy, this beautiful dog who
Yeah.
turned out to be a fourth and bring her for you. Come on, Eddie. Come on, Eddie, come. Come on, here. Come on. Come. Come on. So I met Hennessy. Now, look at you.
Yeah.
Say hi. Now, at the time I rescued Hennessy,
Yep.
Hennessy had this big lump over her head like this. Hennessy couldn't even walk.
Yeah.
So when I talked to the people there and I brought them like all this cat food to feed all the cats, because the lady was always delivering it to me. Hennessy here,
Yeah.
after I was mauled by a pit bull, upstairs in the 10th floor, closing counter, I was petrified of pit bull.
Mhm.
But she was looking at me this way like,
Yeah. You can't say no to their
Yeah,
faces,
out.
you know?
So at that point, I brought up some food, and the owner was doing some things that were inappropriate. The individual at that time putting his hands in here, like in her head here. Turned out she was the worst dog you will ever imagine. She's greedy, she's selfish, she eats too much, and she bit him 8 times in that day. But the way she was looking at me, I don't know. I went there. The second time, I said, That's her design.
Yeah.
If she follows me to the elevator, if she comes in the elevator, then I will take her tonight. Even though it was all 8 times between the legs, just the way she was looking, her head, people thought she was like this. She was like dragging her thing. And when we got to the elevator, he said, Ken, let's talk about it later. I said, let her decide. She came in the elevator. So I brought her down here. That same night, this dog slept in a bed with me with a man who was mauled 8 times between the leg and in the past year and a half, not once. So, go on back in. So while we're there, this lady brought me a nice meal. And the individual, Paul, had taken Hennessy for a walk. At that point, I knew nothing about Hennessy, right? But it turned and says, somebody must have treated her well along the way because she was very pleasant people.
Yeah.
So Paul is coming back with Hennessy. It's around 2:45 p.m. March 30th. I'm even going downstairs. I go downstairs to the 5th floor. I come out. The lady just said, okay, I'll bring some food shortly. 2:45, I come in. I see Hennessy. Oh. So I figure, okay, I go back to work. And I'm writing a letter now to Premier Doug Ford and Mark Carney to know 450 days I legally stopped Olivia Chow in the first the Superior Court of Ontario. Then the Superior Court of Appeals, when they got to a judge who said it was frivolous, sorry, all my kids are gone. And then we're in Canada's highest court to where I just pulled off the most historical application in history. For the first time, I exercised Rule 73 of the Supreme Court of Canada. After they decided to put it away, we took it to another stage. So the lady knocked. The lady knocked. And I get the food. So I'm going to sit down by the computer and I'm typing up this thing. Food is good. Something tells me, I have a cigarette. So, get a cigarette. Light a cigarette. And if you hold it here, I'm going towards the bathroom now. Because you got to take a pee after, right? On the way to the bathroom here, I come and fire, smoke detected. So I realized, it's from the cigarette. So I took another puff, went here, put out the cigarette, went over here, grab a CD, fan it out. Nothing about smoke. Everything is good until there's another sense we have smell. I smell something. So I open the door. Nothing. Nothing, because I don't have to keep this thing. Then I realized, okay, Paul's in the room, because like 2:45 is when I came back. So the door here is locked. Well, so the door is locked. So Paul, yeah, you go. Paul, no answer.
That's your.
Paul, no answer.
Yeah.
Suddenly, I open the door. A tsunami of black smoke just engulfed the whole place.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Who is Paul to you? Your roommate, your friend?
He was the individual who they had kicked out, who had been with me for 31 years.
Oh,
because he was on the lease, they kicked him out.
Right.
He ended up in the park, got bit by a tick, ended up in the hospital with flesh-eating disease. They had to cut off part of his foot, and about a couple months later, they let him out. And he asked me, can he come back? I says, I normally live alone, and so on and so on, but I said, if you're willing to take care of the cats, because I rescued the dog and all that, the cats, so I brought him back in. So him and the 2 cats in the room, and he's out here because I didn't know she was around 30-something cats, but I didn't want to take no chance. So I'm thinking Paul is in the room. I'm screaming, Paul. No, Paul. So at that point, I see a bottom part that looks free. Going on there. But then thank God, smoke was so. Thank God. And you're going, smoke was so bad. So I ran out here. Ran down here, grabbed the smoke detector. Now you notice the smoke detector now. It says it's good. It's been checked for January and February. That's been there since the start of January. It'll be okay for February. We're not even in February yet. Okay? So now I grab it. I'm running through. And I opened the door. And just before I ran out, the first girl, I said, Ennis, out. So Ennis came out. She was out here. Nobody shot. Because he had taken off her leash. Then I go to push. The smoke thing don't work. Oh my God. This don't work. So the door's there. And it's
When was this? How long ago?
March 30th, 2025. Never ever forget that day in my life.
Yeah.
So I go through this door. And I start, work. It won't open. It won't open.
Sir.
Because I have. Finally, I come to it, starts. So I open the door again, but there's no fire, just this black smoke. Just hitting me. You can see it all from here and there. Oh my God. I'm screaming. So at that point, I have to switch. And I sit down. We go down here. We ran down the stairs, ran across each floor, and we start screaming. It's a real fire.
Yeah.
It's a real fire. It's a real fire. So we got across to the 7th floor. And I knocked this girl, Eddie. He's not home. And I knocked Shannon. I think Paul's in the room, the fire. And I have a very good associate, amazing guy named Mario Greco. She says, Mario, get down here. Get what? I said, Paul's dead. There's a fire in the evening. I think Paul. So I said, Mario, get your ass down here. So I said, Mario, get down here. I have the phone. I run downstairs to the elevators, and the elevator's not working. So I run down the stairs. Where the hell is that fireman? Where are the fire? No fireman. That's when I said, okay, try to get back up towards Paul. I tried to get back up towards the 7th floor. These people are coming down, and then these Muslim people are screaming. They're afraid of the dog. The dog's now on the leash. This woman's got a scarf on her neck. I said, get me your scarf. And it's where that's down for months after. So she gives me the scarf. I hang the scarf around it, and I said, then get down. I'm trying to go upstairs. And I get up there. The door, the knives I can. So I run back downstairs. Where's the damn fireman? It's a real damn fire screaming at everybody. So firemen show up, they're coming. I said, get out of here! It's a damn fire. No, so how they coming along? I said, it's on the 9th floor. Get in there. They get over it. Oh, I said, get in there, get out there. It's a fire, it's not you. He said, well, sir, you can't come. Oh, we don't have the key. They don't have the key to get the elevator up. So they go down piling to another elevator across, and we left. Well, contact over to us. Joe's got the key. He says, sir, you can't. I mean, I can't come in here. It's my unit's on fire, and Paul is in the damn unit. So finally we got there. They get off at 7. I said, on the 9th floor. Oh, sir. We don't go all the way up to the floor in the event that there's a fire. So you get off the 7th floor for? Why on the 8th floor? They get off the 7th floor. The firemen on this side. The firemen are going to the other side, the 2-bedroom unit. It must be the longest fire hose you have, because you're going to the other fire thing on the 2-bedroom side. I said, it's on that side. They're dropping their tools, everything. So I come back on the other side. Finally, said, well, sir, I said to him, Paul is upstairs. He's in the room, and he's probably dead right now. Right? No one. So we go through there. I go back downstairs. I still have this fire extinguisher in my hand. Okay, so go downstairs. Cop comes up. So I told him exactly what I just told you. I inadvertently stand on their smoke sensor with a cigarette went off. And I put it out and said nothing about smoke. I smelled something burning. It was not something smoky. I turned, went to Paul's room right now. Now when I opened the door, there's now no smoke. So fireman main response, main thing the policeman's main thing got there was to take away the smoke, the fire smoke. I'm in a corner, I can't breathe. And I'm full of smoke and everything. I can't breathe. No, but everybody's one. I got this a pair of rip-off shorts here. Okay, and it's still you don't have a leash on. Nobody's paying attention to me. And that's the only statement I give to the police. I said, fireman came and says, did you find Paul's body? There's nobody in the room. There's nobody in the room.
That's probably good news then.
But there's nobody in the room. He just walked my dog when I was going downstairs. He was coming back. I come back. The dog was there. Off the leash, the room door was closed, and suddenly, just 5 minutes later, a big smoke thing exploded. So, sitting there, and I'm talking to the fireman, who comes walking up the front area? what, there's a fire in your room. It was like, he said, yeah, I said, he says, you possibly still. I said, what? He says, I saw. Okay, that this can speak. I put the whole thing though. This one. So he has a 70. He told me a year cell phone, a 7-year-old cell phone. And he had a lithium battery. These were his words. And there was either that or there was a little warmer. But the warmer had no price. He said I plugged it in that socket by the wall. And I was loose. Turned out I was in it since nobody's ripped there. Right. But they sent. You know who they sent to do the electrical work that can catch fire? This guy was throwing the garbage. So the one who picks up the garbage from each floor to each floor. Yeah. I was in belief that they have qualifications to take off this year because they know how to use a screwdriver, and they have qualifications to do wiring. Turns out apparently one of them, their maintenance guy, was from another country, and he probably did do electrical in that country, but in that country they do the opposite way. So that year, so they said that they're going to try and find something to use it. They said that they're going to use a bus coming. I said, go see, there's a van over there to go see him. Next thing you know, when the bus passes, Paul, see nothing about the cell phone, just see what it is. Because at that point, I didn't know how well. I hear his complaint, right? But I'm trying to process everything. So sit there for about, it was around 3 something past. And then, oh, yeah, Paul said, not for the cats. Oh my God. So because I haven't been paid. I haven't gotten to warn them because what happened after was one of the biggest injustices and violations of the law by the Toronto police you ever seen. Mr. Wonderful and Miss Cat. Because my health was depreciating because of the attacks, they have a gang of a bunch of specific people. And because they're building a large amount of immigrants, and there's a large amount of drug use and cleaning it up, there's even alcoholics who get off at, making people, well, nobody else matters but them. I came in to stop that. It's a Caucasian anti-immigrant aid gang. And they've been stalking me every single thing I do. They attack me. They've knocked off my security screen camera. They came with matches to my door. They would throw all sorts of food paste across my door. I can't even stalk you. See that on YouTube. Everywhere I walk, they stop me. They follow me. They have people who every time, sometimes I don't walk. Because I do it every single day. I go up and down every single fix to it. It was infested with dog poop when it first came. Got that clean up the child care center. When you walked in, there was a little thing overhang here, and all these pigeons lodged there. And there's shit right in front of the child care. Big load of shit. And you can Google that, Kevin Clark's Child Care Center, 4301. You can Google Kevin Clark Basket. Just Google anything I said to you. It's all documented. And in turn, I videotape and photograph everything. And in turn, they put up a plexiglass. You can see at the front above the child care, there's a plexiglass. The overhang was falling apart. I videotaped and photographed that. And then they ended up putting up a new overhang. The basketball court, I videotaped, photographed all the problems. New basketball, if there's any funding. There was a big, humongous light that was overhanging the basketball, but the whole bottom was rusted out totally. It was falling down. I had to call Toronto Fire. They repaired that. Every single piece, I even called Property Standards, and my good friend Jason O'Keefe, you can contact him too. He is the head of Property Standards east of Young. Mr. Clark. Yeah, well, so Jason O'Keefe came and visited me. When Jason is supervisor, when they left, when they was raining outside, the first thing even Fiona did was, Jason said, Fiona, come over here. Fiona, she's an older woman. Jason, come over here. I said, what? She said, look at this puddle. Let's clean up her shoes. They were so disgusted by the condition. So I got Property Standards order put on the building. These tiles took me over. I got an email that says, Mr. Clark, we received thousands of emails from you about the carpets and so on. That's fixed. I brought the counselor in to address the issue. So we're downstairs in the bus stand. I had to eat, and Ariel went to go get me some clothes because I had no clothes. I was just supposed to find me a place, right? About 3 hours after the fire, the officer who had taken the thing from me says, Kevin, want to come and give us a statement. We can go sit in the police car. I'm the most wrongfully arrested person in the history of the city of Toronto, according to 52 division records for about 15, 20 years ago, where I was ranked in the top 5 to be Toronto mayor. Number 1 was current mayor David Miller, 2-1. He bowed out because I hijacked him at Queen and Young. David was coming out. So David saw me. So David I've known from New York Southwestern because I ran to replace Bob Ray. And David was my opponent. And while David was about to defeat Gerard Kennedy, I hit the audience with this. Well, my name is Kevin Clark. I'm the independent. Why vote for David Miller, the NDP, when I am officially entering the race for the leader of the New Democratic Party of Ontario? Everybody was shocked because today, that same debate, I received my New Democratic card. David Miller lost to former Daily Bread food bank member Gerard Kennedy. And he lost because the independent was running for the leader of the New Democratic Party. In turn, David went to Jill Marcetti. This is like 20 years ago. I'll never forget it. The head of the NDP, Jill Marcetti, sent me a letter, Mr. Clark. You are expelled from the NDP because you ran against the duly elected candidate. So now David is number 1. Number 2 is my buddy, George Smithers. Now, you know who he is? He's the former healthcare minister who was responsible for $1 billion boondoggle. Turns out me and George became great friends because George's sister had an extreme crush on me. And when she was homeless, I took her in, put her up in a hotel. When George found out about her extreme drug addiction, rather than doing it for everybody in the city, George shipped his sister out of the city to Woodward somewhere area. Got her cleaned up. But he only did it for his sister. So that was number 2, the former health minister. Number 3 is former TTC chair. You know who he is? Terrence Stitt. Oh. Yeah, so Terrence Stitt is ranked number 1. We're almost done. So he's ranked 25-1. Number 4 is the former head of Rogers Communications and the former head of the CFL. You know who that is? You don't know who's the former head of Rogers and who's the former head of the CFL? John Phony Baloney Tory. Oh. And he's 25-1. Oh. Number 5, and Edward Keenan is a world-renowned journalist. Number 5 choice is a homeless man named Kevin Clark. When Keenan did that article, that's how Rob Ford came to power. When Keenan did that article, Keenan got devoted to High Weekly. He got so pissed off, he says, I'm going to write an article that they'll never forget. I'm going to write it with pure truth. And he says, because Kevin Clark may be known as being rude, but he's lovable, and he ranked me 1,000,000-1. Didn't put it Rob Ford. They had a big meeting, to make a long story short, because he's a big meeting at City TV. I was going to push Clark. Turns out the security guard is a former WWE superstar named Jason Tavares, who was a great impersonator, who ended up running federally for me later. And the thing was, are we going to push Clark? Well, no, Clark can't be controlled. I won't admit that I am black, because I'm not black. I'll color my tongue, not black, right? I'm called black. You're not white. You're called white. My grandfather's a Caucasian. Called Caucasian. My grandmother's an Negro. So I identify as a person, just a human being. Don't judge me by my pigmentation. A woman called me from sent me a message from the Evangelist Hall that they Google famous black Canadians. My name came out. They wanted to be in the exhibit. I said, I am not black. If you put that, I do not identify as black. I'm called black, but I identify as a person. And I believe that I should be judged by the content of the character of my heart and by the works I do and the good I do for others. So to get back to the fire thing, 3 hours after the fire, the cop says, let's go to the car and discuss it. I said, no, I'm the most wrongfully arrested person across the foreign country, 2 division record. This is how I became one of the top choice for mayor. Let's go to the He says, no, let's go to the car. It's more comfortable. I said, no, because it's like, I will not go in the back of the car voluntarily unless I've done something legal. He said, okay, Kevin, give your food to Paul. I said, why? He says, give him the food. I grab the food and leave it at home. He says, give the dog to Paul. I said, why? He says, give the dog, get the dog, give the Paul. Under arrest for what? Arson. What? How the hell is I'm scared? How you get arson? You say you're smoking a cigarette. So they took what I told you about how I fought about the fire. And they fabricated arson. Now, possible from what I told you, I'll change it. Arson is a deliberate act. And then they wrote in that Mr. Clark decided to light the place on fire, light the cigarette. Basically, I did a cigarette. I opened the room with my 2 cats. The fireman had just told me that they had died. And I ended up throwing it in the room, closed the door, and then within 15 minutes, I changed my mind. So I decided to run and get the fire extinguisher to put it out. They don't say that I pressed the fire alarm in front of everyone. So they took my statement and they got a guy named Khrushchev, Peter Kruczek. He wrote a statement. He was the lead detective. And currently, I'm looking to lay him on criminal charges and remove his badge because there is zero evidence of any criminal act on my part. We found out later on that the motive by Khrushchev and the police, and we found out that Khrushchev has been promoted. And the only way detectives will do 22 years, who whether it is 15 minutes the fire took, within 3 hours, going to the scene. The criminal charge of arson, but he also laid another charge that showed that he broke a law. Charged him for endangering animal and endangering human. And I got released that day on a Form 10 after I protested Mario's film and everything. I made sure I had Mario for everything. If you agree not to go back to your place, and not to go and commit an arson problem, we will release you today on a Form 10. Would you believe that somebody was charged with arson within 3 hours? You had enough evidence to show that they committed arson. Are you going to release them that same day? Be allowed not to go back on the property? If they deliberately have done that, what's going to stop them? And I said, if you don't, then since I family most wrongfully, according to 52 division, I have the largest file. And in the file it says, I'm writing up the people, but it gave me some great. I'm also the most successful public defender in the city. Lawyers come to me. They run the court. So in turn, if I don't, then I have to go through the process. But because of my past decades ago, then I've gone through the system and I've gone reverse those laws. And my main concern was the dogs. And if I agree not to go back, I guess to keep the dog. Now at that point, a condition I told her the dog was in. I knew that if they're taking the dog, because I'd taken the cats and the dog and everything to human society, and they talk so much time that I had to prepare her for being put down, right? So what I figured is that if Paul says, I pass it over to them, Paul didn't want to take care of the dog. They said, she's going to human society, and I feared for the dog life. Then, if you agree not to go back, then you can take the dog with you. So I'm charged for arson. The person who saved everybody in the building and ran around in front of everybody. I'm charged for endangering animal and endangering human when the only human was endangered was myself. And I'm charged for endangering animals. It turned out my 2 cats had died of smoke inhalation. But if I agree not to come back, because here is where I had all my data, I had like computers and all that, then I can walk off the property with just a pair of socks, pair of shorts, not even a pair of socks, a thin piece of shirt the day before an extreme snowstorm. And I can walk off with the dog that I'm charged for endangering. Turned out that I checked my emails as I got 8 months. I was banned from within 500 meters of what the church was. One of the peace officers signed as the accused, which they weren't because they broke the law. I signed as a peace officer. We went through courts for 8 months, and the Crown Attorney and the judge was outraged. I also tried to blame it and say it's the fire marshal that is banned me from my unit. It's the fire marshal that said it was a cigarette. Turned out they sent all sorts of email to the fire marshal to produce a fire marshal report after, because I can tell you the most wrong under the law. The fire marshal never replied. And then when finally it turned out the Crown Attorney wasn't in a very big trial, the judge wanted to work in the case, the Crown wanted to work in the case because it was me. To be exact, I am internationally known. And I'm also, the media haven't told you, but I brokered the largest children's rights case in Canadian history, in the death, torture, murder, and abuse of a 7-year-old child. You probably heard of the case, Caitlin Sampson. So there's a law, 173 rights in the province of Ontario. It's called Caitlin's Principle. I brokered that because I ended up traveling to Ottawa and ran for a member of provincial parliament in a by-election. And you can Google it, Kevin Clark in Ottawa, Vanier. And during the elections, the NDP agreed with us. And I had a political party, as you know, Maxime Bernier. He cannot run any candidate in Ontario on the People's Party. You can Google that in the Toronto Star because he needs the approval of the founder of the People's Party in Canada. And that's Kevin Clark. So the only way Bernier can run any candidate in Ontario under the banner People's Party is if I get the authorization. So in turn, basically, the cops, we found out I was on a corruption case against the police. I took the police, PC Kerr, the investigator who investigated my complaint against him, 43 divisions, the Toronto Police, and I took it a little further. I took the OIPRD. You know what that is? Ontario Independent Police Review Director. So those are the ones that if police do you wrong, they are the overseer of them who will have someone investigate. It is now called LECA, L-E-C-A. So a law enforcement submarine. So I took them to court. Turned out at the same time after fire, LECA had ruled that they didn't do no wrong. The investigators from the division ruled they did no wrong. The judges of the Superior Court of Ontario ruled that they did. They ruled that the police lied, the investigator lied, and they passed the case back to LECA. So I believe someone in the division ended up saying, well, we're going to need someone to sign off on this. We're going to get Clark out of the way.
Mr. Clark, we need to get going to our next appointment.
Yeah.
I just want to explain to you the reason we're here today
Yes.
is your care coordinator, your community service coordinator downstairs referred you to something called Focus Ontario.
Okay.
And so I'm here today to do a wellness check with you to make sure you're doing okay.
Yeah.
We can do your vital signs if you're interested in
Well,
that.
I was assaulted yesterday by going towards the elevator.
Do you need to go to the hospital for
Well,
that
I
today?
can't because I'm running for Toronto mayor.
Okay.
I have an animal to take care of, and I spent 8 months on the streets. Right.
And then
Yeah, but I wouldn't
two
mind
other
checking
things.
out my chest and doing a report on that because I did contact the police. And
Mhm.
now my opponent who represents, there's two candidates for mayor. One is a corporation, one is a media. There's two front runners, Kevin Clark on behalf of you, the people, and the media, and whoever they put in as their media candidates. So in turn, I have to deal with them. And I have concerns about all the cameras.
Yeah.
And yesterday when I was assaulted coming out of the elevator, either was a punch or was hit, and I got chest issues. But I went through the system, but the two people down the hall witnessed it as young kids. And the way this gang works is that they will send somebody else after you and retaliate. So I didn't want to get them involved. So I figured it the cameras. And as I suspected, none of the elevator cameras work. Yes. So there was an excellent special constable, and she has been recommended for the Toronto Police Service. I'm going to see what his wellness check is. Very good work. He listens very well, and we'll see where he goes.
And then one of the two other things that they wanted me to do while I was here was to introduce two other agencies in the city,
Yes.
Taibu and Scarborough Center for Healthy Communities.
Scarborough Center for Healthy Communities is a racist organization.
So
Okay,
are you really engaged with Taibu at all then?
I'm Taibu also. So if you can do, I'll take their information, but I do not associate with Scarborough Center for Healthy Communities and Taibu. Scarborough Center for Healthy Communities is it's what you call it. It's one of those right offense.
So
They do good jobs, but they contradicted by some of the things they get involved in, such as crack pipes, needles, and meth pipes to people who are drug addicts.
you don't want either of those agencies?
No, I'll take all. Yes, I will. I'll take either of them.
Because I don't have anything to give you,
Yeah.
but I just want to verify your phone number
Yes.
so that they can call you. If that's
Yes,
okay.
you can refer me to all three of them.
Is it
but-
647-745-2768?
Yeah, and you have my email?
I don't. Do you want me to
Okay,
take that
yes,
down?
there are
Sure.
two of them.
Let me just grab
Yeah.
that pen here.
And then my email also tells you why I'm here. Okay, so
Which email would you prefer? that
well,
we
you can
use?
go with both of them.
Sure. What's
First
the
one, CREATING. Don't add to the word TING. GOOD.
G-O-O-D.
PEOPLE. You got it?
People? Creating good people?
Yes, at gmail.com.
Okay.
And my other email, I'm not a politician, I don't do it. I'm not here politically, I'm here for service. So my other email for service is reference to anything that's funded by government is KEVIN, which stands for Keep Equal Values and Neutral. And the middle part is not there, but MARK, you don't need to write that. No, you don't need to write that. That's Make All Rights Keep, but CLARKE. Some people would say Christ, Lord, all righteous King eternal. I say children love all rights keep equally, because creation let all rights keep equally. At G, which is for good or God, male, because the male carries the word. .com.
So
You got it?
creative.
Yeah, so you can refer me to all three, right? Because I do not refer as black or white, but also as a candidate for Toronto mayor, I must go through and see their perspective. I do have previous experience now since I've been back 8 months after being homeless, after being on the streets, left for dead. I died so much times in the fret. Yeah, because it turns out a day or two after, remember that big humongous snowstorm last year in April?
Yes,
Well,
I do.
that was when the cops were in the homeless, no shirt. And then I went, yeah, and when we went through everything, it turns out that we were allowed except for one time back to unit. I was allowed once, but I'm not allowed to take photos or videos. And as you can see, all the time here, my phone is working around. So these individuals who were stalked and targeted, were working with individuals in housing, they take photos and videos of people, and they do it. But in turn, me, I'm only taking photos and videos of the property, repair, safety, maintenance issue. So housing basically is trying to get rid of me in a sense that they won't be liable. When we first crop with all these people put their fake statement, you know how much cats was killing my unit? 30! That's that story they're telling. He murdered 30 cats, things like that. Yeah, so I checked my chest because I was hit yesterday, and I would like to report on that because I'm not allowed to go to the hospital. Anything else you wish?
Do you want the blood pressure and all that?
Yes,
done?
yes.
So why don't we do that?
I would like to
Perhaps
report to
it's
BK.
with you or no?
Yeah. And then your business, your cards, because ironically, God takes what was evil and turns it into good. If you don't believe in God, good take what was evil and turn it into good. Because by that assault yesterday, it also led me to my concerns about the camera. It turns out the camera is not working. By you two showing up today, you know what you did?
What's that?
You solidized part of my campaign platform. We're gonna have anyone over the age of 65 or with disability with mobility issues be visited by an employee to pay for taxes.
Yeah, and that's what the community care medicine program.
Yes, well, that's what I'm looking at, but I don't want it just paramedics, police, fire,
Right.
any one of the 30,000 city workers we have, every 4 hours, they must put in a report of a summary of the work they did that for.
Right.
Right, so no longer can they go weeks, days, and months without being accountable. So 4 hours, yeah. So we're gonna cut off the tape here right now because these individuals did do good work. And I do not know what their interior character is of their heart, but definitely I do recommend them to continue working with the services for the city. They were not bullying, they were not belligerent, they did not try to put words in my mouth, they did not try to be aggressive. Their purpose was to look out for the well-being, and that's what we expect from all city workers and any agencies that are funded by taxpayers in the city of Toronto, because the incoming mayor of Toronto, his name is Mr. Kevin Clark. My deputy mayor chosen by me is the children of the soon-to-be older city of Toronto. And my associate mayor, if you have good content of characters, one of these individuals, everyone was good. Goodness starts with loving kindness, not greedy selfishness. Let's treat everybody the best. Mr. Kevin Clark for mayor. And Peter Cree, RUCZEK, please leave the Toronto Police Service because I will be filing criminal charges against you. I will be filing charges with LECA, and I will be seeing that you pay for your criminal act. Anyone who breaks the law is a criminal. Somebody who did not do the job that they were instructed to do. You're a false witness. You two did your job so far.
Thank you. So we're just gonna put a blood pressure cuff on your arm and just a little oxygen probe.
And you'll be